After exploring the dated abandoned power station of an old Italian steelworks last week, today we are continuing our industrial adventure. In today's Urbandoned video, we venture deeper into the colossal premises, coming across some epic scenes of silent machinery and vast halls that have been forgotten amidst modernisation. Join us as we wander through the plant to see what remains.
Alistair,
What?
have you heard that 85% of people are not subscribed?
You're joking? They need to hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell to never miss a video. You join us as we finish up exploring the site's former power station, an encapsulating few hours before we noticed further abandonment further into the steel mill. We recommend watching that video if you are yet to see it to understand the true scale of the facility. After leaving that building, we begin a lengthy infiltration that we spontaneously organised on Google Maps. With the steelworks still partly active, we didn't want to take any chances, especially whilst abroad, and cautiously made our way past endless vacant roads and humming generators, aiming for the towering derelict-looking complex ahead. As we reached the dilapidated walls, we were glad to see our assumptions hadn't been incorrect, and the gargantuan hall we found ourselves inside was definitely abandoned. We just made it into another massive steelworks. I think this one is a bit more demolished than the other one we did, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. Looking at the space that's been created by workers, there's not as many intersecting levels either, so it just feels a bit more empty perhaps.
It might be harder to get around.
Yeah, the floor's a bit collapsed here.
As you can see, there's walkways here that have just been cut off, so we might be making our way around on the ground floor and then finding staircases to different upper bits. There's a little control room. It's a very old telephone.
We've seen ones similar to this as well.
Yeah. Although, like everything, it seems a tiny bit stripped. Some belongings remaining. Ah, now this might be the main control room of the site. Got an example of how dated it is from that TV there, and just the overall layout. As touched upon in part 1, The works dates back to the 1860s, based on an Italian port where an exploitable mining area was situated, allowing steel to be produced from liquid cast iron. The seaside location was ideal so that raw materials could be easily brought on site and finished products could be transported away by boat. This would have been the staff room for the control staff. Absolutely gigantic claw for the crane. Just dropped onto this walkway. It's quite cool because you never get to see these up close. And the rays are starting to come in now as well. You see some of the best examples of light in Steelworks. This bit's definitely less stripped. Even got some ladles. You can see how far it goes that way. Such a massive place.
You really forget how big they are. You can look at all the photos you want, but even if you've seen one in person before, every time you come in it still blows your mind away by just how big they really are. Sections over there that we're not even close to.
My feet sounds are muted by the thick level of dust on the floor. It's hard to work out what's going on in these massive buildings, even in England. And in Italy, when the language is different on all the signs, it makes it even more tricky. Looks like a conveyor. Ah, it is. This would probably distribute or import material into the building or away. And as you can see, it goes quite far. I'm not going to walk up it, but it will probably distribute it to other buildings of the site that would do different jobs, most of which now are abandoned. What is this?
It's huge. Does it extend that way?
It does, yeah. It goes past the building. And it's got some sort of car on it.
Oh wow, yeah, this is really cool.
You can see there it would disperse stuff down that hole. Made our way across to the car. We're in another huge building. So this one's separate from the rest. That's what's making that noise if you're wondering. Little substation.
So this is the ladle handling area. Looks like a little bit of it's been demolished, as you can see straight ahead of me, but other than that, there's quite a lot left. It's a really big section of the plant. Wow, look at that cabin. That is huge. That'll be the main control room, at least for a massive gantry crane. However, this also doesn't fail to impress.
The make of the machine's logo on it, covered in rust. It would rotate too. Being able to lift up the ladles, it must have been very strong, which is probably why it's built on top of all this concrete. We had only spent a brief duration exploring the factory so far, but we were already visualising some impressive industrial scenery, huge machines coated in rust and sun rays sneaking in, that we could compare to Teesside's Lackenby Steelworks that we had visited a few months prior.
This would be the main control room. This end of the hall is the finishing area, as we've just found out. This is its main control room. Funnily enough, this panel seems to be backwards, facing towards the window. I'm not sure why that would have been, as there's no screens behind me. But it's not exactly a power station control room, but for the context and how old it is, I still think it's really cool to see. Another data telephone, just like the other control room. Up here we have the intercom system. The buttons still work. And it looks like another section that would have relayed to the arms I was on and out before. There's also 6 tracks down there as well that would have run out throughout the finishing line area. Obviously this book is in a different language, so I can't completely tell what it would have been, but I can see there's dates at the top, dating back to 2007.
This section is definitely the most intact out of all we've seen so far. It's the ground floor down there and there's still machinery left. It would have been the finishing area where the finished steel was exported, which I don't think was an easy process looking at this. Typical with these sites, the steelworks changed owners on many occasions throughout the 20th century. In the 80s, it was Italy's biggest works, employing more than 7,000 people. You can see all the motors here. I imagine these would be like rolling pins. From above though, the trough that they're in is completely flooded, so some water has been getting in. It's probably a control room up there.
I think it would have been one, judging by the layout of the others. However, it's now completely stripped.
Unfortunately, the 80s was the property's pinnacle, as passing into the 21st century, the current owners fell into a financial crisis. Sections of the plant would be decommissioned as years went by, until a small region of the massive grounds was bought by a new company. However, they planned to invest into the works and redevelop its outdated areas, causing the majority of the steelworks to close a decade ago. Wow. This is so nice. Really, really old. There's power on this one as well. I imagine the two on the left were the more dated ones that were here when this building was made, and they just shut them down and replaced it with this. Also now not used, but the power's still functioning, probably coming from that other substation.
Heading up in this substation, see if there's any of the old panels or just to get a general view over the whole. Looks like more modern units that probably would have been used up until they closed the site in the early 2000s. You can tell it's been shut for a while there.
Heading out of the steel mill for a moment to take in its exterior in a secluded part, we had discovered this small old-fashioned substation. Ultimately, it was time to return within the industrial Goliath to attempt to find a way to reach the tall structure's summit. As the sun was beginning to set, we knew we didn't have long, and we had to select the right staircase, hoping that it wasn't a dead end.
These are the converters. Well, there's two here, but this row would have been where they would have been. There's 3 more ladles just left abandoned there. Too heavy to move out.
The control rooms seem to be following the same suit, so I'm going to guess this is another one. It would have been. This could have been areas for computers here. The only panel left is this one by the looks of it. Only got a couple of buttons on it. Not as nice as the other ones.
Well, I can see lights on here, so I think this is where I will stop the exploration. They're really cool. But yeah, it doesn't particularly look used. I think this is the rolling mill. But we've probably played it a bit too close for comfort here, so it makes sense for us to leave it there. Getting quite high now in the main building. Not much machinery that isn't just pipes now, and they're a lot smaller. But you get an even better view of the huge halls of the steelworks. Currently on top of the crane. As you can see, when the place closed, they moved all 3 gantry cranes to this far side and just left them to rest. It's an incredible view, especially as the sun goes down now and the rays start to come in.
From the roof, we were able to take in a beautiful sunset that contrasted entirely to the mostly defunct steelworks that probably has a finite amount left. It had been a breathtaking experience, digging into a piece of forgotten European industry, and this period gazing back over where we had come from was very impactful. Knackered after more than 7 hours of documenting, we eventually left the grounds undetected and tucked into a well-deserved pizza on the coast. We hope you enjoyed coming along with us on the entire expedition. Here are some of our photographs taken at the abandoned steelworks. If you like the look of them, check out our Instagram page in the description, where we share images from our explores months before they are seen on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Let us know if you want to see more two-part explorations in the future. We have some special videos and surprises coming soon, so be on the lookout. See you next time.